The Mile Run, featuring Jim Ryan, along with Byron Dice, Ken Popejoy, Howell Michael, Bruce Fisher, Dave Wottle, Tom Gregan, Greg Fredericks, and Tim Ferguson. Now here are Marty LaCourie and Bill Toomey.
Thank you, Jack. Glad to have Marty helping me out in this race again. He was the Dream Mile winner last year. Marty, speaking of dreams in this race, we have a fantastic story as far as I'm concerned. I've been out of the country for a couple of weeks, but I came back to hear the story of a miler who supposedly either in his dreams or in practice ran a mile faster than you. What do you think about that?
Well, he's rumored to have run a 3:52 mile, which would be the second fastest ever by an American, rumored to have done this in practice. His father swears that he did it.
Well, he's down there. He's in the race. And he's in the race with Jim Ryan, a man who has been better than 3:52. If, in fact, he did run 3:52, we might see something. Fact or fiction will be determined very shortly. Who might take the lead in this race, Marty?
Well, I think a lot depends on how Jim feels today. I think with the rain coming down like this, a lot of the runners like to be out in front because the splashing from the other runners, when it hits your legs, kind of cools you off and can really tighten up your muscles. So someone might go out and really...
Tony Benson is a late entry in this mile, and he's a tremendous 5,000 meter runner. He's never been beaten outside of Australia. And in Australia, in the championships, they had a rather slowish 5,000 in which he ran the last lap in 51.8. What does that sound like?
Well, Tony definitely has quite a bit of speed for a 5,000 meter man. He was the third fastest miler in Australia last year, and he hasn't been to the United States much, but I think we're going to see him really try for a win here. He's the type of guy that always tries to run for the win.
What kind of shape is Byron Dice in? Always a strong runner.
Well, Byron had everything pretty much his way on the boards this year. He's the first American black man to break 4 minutes, which he did last year, and I think he's going to try and run a good race again this year.
All right, the gun is up now for the start of the Dream Mile. And a man who's been dreaming a lot about this race must be number 12, Tim Ferguson, who dreamed 3:52. Jim Ryan looks loose. He looked like he was in good spirits when I talked to him yesterday. Speaking of the Dream Mile, the gun is getting up. Talk a little bit about Tim Ferguson after the runners get ready. Tim Ferguson, as I mentioned earlier in the show, is the boy who supposedly ran 3:52, Marty LaCourie. What do you think?
He's out there way out in front right now, Bill. He looks like he has beautiful form. He's an untested runner, and maybe his dream will come true today.
He's never run an open competition. I've heard stories ranging that he can hit anything from 9.3 in the 100 all the way through 3:52. He's in the lead.
He does have a great reputation as a California prep man in the 440-yard dash. Moving up to the mile with his speed, you can never tell what could happen.
Well, in about 3.5 laps, we're going to find out if he is dreaming. And I'm sure that everybody in that race wonders who he is and what he's done.
The pace right now is very slow. Greg Fredericks of Penn State, who ran 4 minutes and 4/10 last week, has gone into the lead. Second is Ken Popejoy, the NCAA indoor champ, with Bruce Fisher of Syracuse in third place.
How does Jim look?
Well, Jim's got good position. He looks to me like he wants to take the lead, and he may do so in the next half a lap.
All right, Jim is right on the shoulder of Byron Dice. The first lap was run in 60 and 1/10 seconds.
It's good pace for this type of day. I'd have to say that Ferguson doesn't look like he's going to do it today.
I think that Ferguson maybe never has done it. What do you think?
I think his was a real dream mile.
All right, Ryan in fourth position. Bruce Fisher in back of him, and now Byron Dice is moving up.
In third place, you have Tom Gregan, an Irish boy who we'll see more of at the Munich Olympics. He's sure to make the Irish Olympic team.
Is he qualified yet, or will this be...
This probably be the day he would like to run 4 minutes. He did it last year, but he has to qualify again this year. In fourth, of course, Byron Dice. Fifth place, Howell Michaels, the 1970 NCAA champion indoors and national outdoor champion in the mile.
Okay, and as we look at the pack, almost all the way in the back, Tony Benson, of course, remember, he's about 12 to 15 yards in back. Now Ryan seems to be slowing down, and Benson will be coming by him after 2 laps. We have a time of 2:02, so
almost
what kind of pace?
It's a fair pace. I think Greg Fredericks at this point is going to be in the race. Tony Benson may be able to pull up there and be in contention. Byron Dice looks very good. Ken Popejoy in second place, the NCAA indoor champion. Jim Ryan, I think, is just a little bit too tight and is not going to be a factor here today.
All right.
Tony Benson seems to be coming alive, going after the pack. And directly in front of Benson in sixth place is 4-minute miler Dave Wottle, who seems to be moving up, and if he's with the leaders with a half lap to go, I'd have to give him the nod.
Fisher making a move now. Byron Dice still lying back, well back. But it looks like Benson just hasn't got it. I don't think he should have made a move by now if he was going to get up.
Well, Tony's got a lot of strength, and this next quarter will really tell a tale.
Looks like they're trying to jockey for a better position going into this last lap. Here's the gun lap. And at the end of three quarters, 3:03. So they kept the pace pretty even for these first three laps, haven't they?
The exact same pace as last year. I think it's going to be around a 3:56, 3:57 mile.
Fredericks is about, what, a 4:02 man? Is he probably running
4 minutes last week?
Right on pace for the best he's ever done.
Fredericks has run 4 minutes last week. Popejoy has run 4 minutes. Howell Michael, the 1970 AAU champion, moving into the lead now. Byron Dice, I'd say watch Wottle with the hat on and the orange cap. If he's with him coming off the last turn, he's going to... I think Waddle's going to get them.
Making a big move right now.
He's got a tremendous sprint the last 100.
Right on the shoulder. Waddle coming up and back. And here goes the stretch kick.
This is Waddle's forte right here.
Here goes Hal Michael and Wottle moving well together. Very tight.
Oh.
It looks like Dave Wottle coming up from behind, picking off Hal Michael. Jim Ryan experiencing a bad afternoon here in the rain. Still remaining a question mark for many people. The fans are giving a hard time. 3:58.3 must have been a tremendous last lap on that.
Definitely. Waddle's definitely got to be considered as an Olympic hopeful in either the 800 meters or the 1,500 meters off of what he did here today. Hal Michaels recently having some bad times, but he really looked great today.
Well, the Dream Mile turned out to be kind of a nightmare.
Nightmare for
some people. The Dream Mile in slow motion. Look at Wottle move now in the hat, coming off the shoulder of Hal Michael now. Michael, look at his face. He's a bit tight, as is Popejoy. Dave Wottle moving very well. He's keeping his rhythm. His shoulders are pretty square. As Michael is moving all over the track, his shoulders are not as positioned as Waddle's is. Wottle moving down the stretch now. But Hal Michael still holding on, and Wottle outleans him at the end. A tremendous time for both these runners, both of them in 3:58 and 5/10 seconds. In third place, Ken Popejoy. His time just over 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 2/10. And in fourth, Greg Fredericks, 4:01 and 9/10.
AAU International Champions will continue in just a moment.